Well, hey there, greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is John Campea, and this is a companion video. What is a companion video? Well, I'm awfully glad that you asked. See, every day on the John Campea Show, Monday through Friday, we take time to take some live questions, but we don't always have enough time to get around to all the live questions that get sent in. But I want to make sure those questions get answered properly in a video, so I gather them up and I address them here in companion videos. Let's not waste any more time and get right into answering the questions. All right. And the first question we're going to start getting caught up on here today comes to us from Lennox Clark, who writes, I think the Witch/Strange story, I'm talking about Doctor Strange too, may be a play on the House of M versus multiverse. WandaVision may very well be a reality she creates herself. Thoughts? Well, you know, Lennox, a lot of people have been speculating that. A lot of people have been bringing up House of M and all that kind of stuff. I actually, and it's certainly a possibility, it is. I don't think they're going to go that way. I really don't. I don't think the universe itself is ready to do something like that. And I'll tell you one theory I've been buying more into. I've been seeing a few people propose the theory that Wanda, Witch, ends up going bad by the end of WandaVision. And she actually ends up being the villain of Doctor Strange 2. Now, I'm not saying that's what's going to happen. I'm just saying more and more I'm hearing people kind of put this forward as an idea. And I got to say the idea is growing on me. Again, I'm not saying I think that's what will happen, but we'll have to kind of wait and see. All right, let's see here. Nerd Guy writes, thoughts, where are we at? Thoughts on Ad Astra trailer. I'm very intrigued. Well, I'll tell you what. I've been fascinated by the sounds of this movie ever since they first said that it was coming ages ago. I mean, you're putting Brad Pitt, I believe Donald Sutherland's in there, Tommy Lee Jones is in there, you got a fabulous director involved. I thought the first trailer was great. I thought the follow-up trailer was great. I've been very impressed by what I've been seeing from it. You know, it doesn't look like, here's what it does look like. It looks like a really good kind of marriage. I'm not going to say hybrid, but kind of marriage between a classic Hollywood Oscar kind of film with the sci-fi elements thrown in there as well. And maybe it will or maybe it won't turn out to be that way. I'll tell you what, I'm impressed by what I'm seeing so far. Okay, better usernames available rights. Where is that? You think Hawkeye a dead cert for the Widow movie? If you mean like an absolute certainty that he'll be in the Widow movie, I'm not convinced of that. Because it depends on the time frame when it's put, and I'm not totally clear, but I think it takes place in between the events of Infinity War and Endgame. Although I may be wrong about that. It might actually be earlier than that. Either way, I actually don't think we're going to see Hawkeye in it, but it's definitely a possibility. Like if you were to say over under 50% that we're going to see Hawkeye, I would say under. But if you were to say like over under 20%, I'd probably say over. So I don't think it's likely, but it's certainly a strong possibility. Holland Love writes, what if someone asks a what-if question about Marvel's What If? Do they achieve what-ifception? A little bit of a play on Inception there. I like that, Holland Love. All right. Vincente Gomez writes, where are we at? There he is. What's the plan now for Hulk's story? With female Thor in the fold, highly doubt there will be room for him in Love and Thunder. Well, I mean, look, just because Thor Ragnarok had Hulk in it, that doesn't automatically mean Hulk, we should have any sort of assumptions that Hulk's just going to pop up in every MCU movie. You know, so I've never assumed that. So, like with or without Natalie Portman coming back to play Jane, the new Thor, even without that, I don't know that was a likelihood we're going to see Hulk there. And I'll be honest with you, I don't know if they have anywhere left to go with Hulk. I mean, look, all due respect to the Russo brothers and I always applaud trying something really new, and they tried something really new with Hulk in making him Professor Hulk and all that kind of stuff, but I didn't like it, but I can still respect that they gave it a shot. I don't like it what the results of it were, and I'll be frank with you, I'm not really all that interested in this iteration of Hulk. I'm much more interested in the classic Hulk of, you know, the two personalities, the man who turns into the monster and the monster being something the universe fears. And they've kind of neutered the Hulk at this point. So, number one, I don't think we should have assumed that Hulk was going to be in there anyway. But even without that, I'm not all that sure I'm all that interested in this Hulk. So you ask me, what's the plans for Hulk's story now? I don't know if there are any plans. I don't know what you do with him that's interesting at this point. So who knows? We'll see what their plans are later on. But right now, I got to be honest with you, Vincente, I'm not even all that interested in it. All right, Nathan W. writes, just upgraded to a 4K TV. Do you guys have any movie suggestions for 4K? Also, just bought Leon the Professional. Nice. I've never actually seen it before. Great movie. Speaking of Natalie Portman, so enjoy, my friend, enjoy. I just recently bought a couple of 4K TVs. I got one for the bedroom, and I wasn't looking for a 4K TV. I was just looking for a nice TV to have in the bedroom. Just a nice little TV. A little bit bigger. We had like a 35-inch in the bedroom. I was hoping for something like 45 or 50. We found one on sale for like $300, and it had Roku built into it, so that's great because I'm a Roku guy, and something that I can use with the PlayStation. Well, it just so happened that it also was 4K. Great. But, I would read some studies on it. I don't really think there's all that much benefit to having a 4K TV. The one I have downstairs now is a 4K as well, but again, I wasn't specifically looking for a 4K. It just happened to be that the TV at the size that I want, at the price that I wanted, which wasn't expensive, just so happened it was also 4K. And I'll be honest with you, I don't notice that much of a difference. I mean, the closer you sit to the TV, the more of a difference you'll notice. But the further away, you can see some studies on this online real easy. So I really don't have anything I would recommend at this point. So I'm sure they'll take advantage of it more. And I hear that gaming in 4K is a bigger difference. I mean, I don't know that yet myself, but I've been hearing that. So maybe that's something to keep an eye on. Okay. Let's see. Kyle Ginder writes, have a theory that Natalie Portman isn't Jane Foster, but the real Thor from a multiverse. So that way she isn't just taking the mantle of Thor. I don't think so. That would be a really kind of strange coincidence that it just so happens that the Thor from that other multiverse just so happens to be the same girl that was in a love relationship. And by the way, the Jane in our universe is from Earth. If she's just Thor from that universe, that means she's from Asgard. I don't know. I mean, I like that you're thinking outside the box, Kyle. I like that you're thinking outside the box. But for me, it feels like a little bit too much of a stretch. Okay. Randall Cartwright writes, Congress, we're going to cut your budget. Mr. Rogers talks for 6 minutes. Congress, okay, here's $20 million. Rob brought up that scene on the John Campea Show the other day. And it is one of the many fantastic scenes of Won't You Be My Neighbor, the documentary on Mr. Rogers that came out last year. Should have been nominated for an Academy Award, should have won the Academy Award, wasn't even nominated, but man, you can look up this on YouTube, the actual real life footage of it, of Mr. Rogers going to in front of it's either Congress or a state Senate committee, but he goes in front of them, makes the case for public funding for children's television, and ends up getting them to give him $20 million or whatever the amount of money was. It's really kind of wonderful, Randall. Okay, next up here, Avery Zavala writes, Favreau seems like one of the most likable people. He completely is. I've had a chance to get together and talk with him on a couple of occasions. First time I ever met Jon Favreau was at Comic-Con about, 5-6 years ago. And he was so nice. He was just so nice. And then I've had a chance to meet him a couple of other times. And then even if you just watch like his show on Netflix now, Chef, that's just like a cooking show with him and his buddies. You can just tell, like, he's just such a naturally nice guy. I mean, coming from somebody like me, that I'm not good around people. I mean, which sounds strange because I talk to people for a living, right? But I'm really not good with people. I'm very socially awkward, actually, to be honest with you. I never used to be. Like, when I was in my 20s, I used to be very extrovert and very, I was just a lot more comfortable in social situations. I'm just not good with people. So I tend to like to be, just around the people I really know. I just like spending time with Anne, a couple of close friends, my family. That's about it. I'm just because I'm not really good with people. I think it has something to do with lack of self-confidence or whatever. I don't know. I'm sure lots of psychology in that. But when you look at a guy like Jon Favreau, he's just so comfortable around people. And he's really fun to be around. So yeah, your observation, Avery, at least from my perspective, is pretty accurate. Okay, here. EME writes, Expanse trailer really made me happy. I still haven't watched the trailer for the new season. And, I was very late to the party in The Expanse. I just started watching it like 7 or 8 months ago because a bunch of you guys kept telling me, and then finally Rob started telling me, you got to see The Expanse, got to see The Expanse. And I finally started watching it. I binged it. I watched all the seasons. So like the rest of you guys, I've just kind of been waiting for the new season to come out. And I heard a new trailer came and I haven't watched it yet. I'm super excited for the show and I haven't watched it yet. But I will let you know, EME, as soon as I do. All right, Noel Nguyen writes, Jojo Rabbit trailer is as bonkers as I expected. I'll tell you what, Noel. That trailer was not what I was expecting. It was bonkers. Absolutely was bonkers. But it wasn't what I was expecting. But I really did like it. I was charmed by it. I'm like, how do you do Adolf Hitler in a playful, fun way? And he just, without sacrificing, underlying what a monster he was. And somehow, just in that trailer, Taika Waititi found a way to do it. And I was intrigued by Jojo Rabbit before. I'm fully on board with it now. Now I'm really looking forward to it. Whereas before I was just intrigued because it was an interesting concept. Forget that. Now I'm on board. I'm totally on board. I can't wait to see this thing. Okay, Venkat Ram Saran Tamala writes, I've been going down the rabbit hole of fan Snyder cuts of Justice League. Forget the actual cut. Will Warner Brothers at least release the original script? Oh, hell no. Why would they? Why would they? Why would any studio ever release any of their scripts? So no, I'm going to go out on a limb and guess absolutely not. Nobody ever does. There's no reason they should. There's just no reason why they would. There's no reason why they would. So I'm going to guess no. I mean, anything's possible. Anything's possible. They could. But if you're asking me if I'm thinking they will, I don't think they will. All right. A Plus Opinions writes, with Feige mentioning a quite different X-Men, my theory was we will be introduced to X-Men with character designs inspired from the 1960s. Scott, Jean, Bobby, Hank, and Warren. Original team design. But, okay, here's the thing though, A+. Then that's not different. That's what was originally done. If Feige's saying we're going to see a quite different X-Men, well, wouldn't that suggest that he's going to be doing something different than what the original X-Men were? I mean, maybe. But I don't know. I mean, he really could mean anything by that. Because listen, Kevin Feige has said over the years many times, oh, the next Avengers is really different. And it really wasn't all that different. The next Iron Man is going to be an Iron Man like we've never seen before. But it really wasn't. I mean, there were a few little differences, but with a little bit of character development. But really, for the most part, it very much was the Iron Man we already knew. So I'm one of those guys where I love Kevin Feige. But when Kevin Feige says something along the lines of, this thing is going to be really different, I'm at the point now where I'm like, sure, Kev. I mean, maybe it will be, but I'll believe it when I see it because I've heard you say this time will be really different several times, and it just ended up being exactly what it was before. And nothing bad. That was always good. But I just don't know whether to take him at his word. And even if I do want to take him at his word, that's going to be really different. Well, that could mean a million different things. And going back to the original designs of X-Men, is that different? But I mean, that would be intriguing too, but I don't know that that would fit in a modern context if they're going to do X-Men in a modern context. So who knows? A lot of possibilities here, AP, a lot of possibilities. All right. Abraxas616 writes, hey guys, do you think Wanda's vision could be setting up the Scarlet Witch as the villain in the multiverse, speaking of which, Multiverse of Madness, and that the title being a hint of her powers getting out of control a la House of M? Well, I was kind of saying that's a little bit of an amalgamation of what some other people are guessing, kind of mashed into one. I'm still not at the point that I'm going to say that I think we're going to see her be the villain, but it's growing on me. Because I mentioned this yesterday too. When you look at, say, Endgame, well, both Infinity War and Endgame, you see her. Ooh, sound like a T-Rex just ran up behind the house. It's just a big truck. When you see Scarlet Witch in, say, Infinity War, she starts off very sweet, but by the end of it, she's starting to get a little bit edgier. Then, of course, she watches Vision die. She kills him once and watches him die at the hand of Thanos once. Then we move into Endgame, and while she's not in the movie much, she shows up and in a very dark way says to Thanos, "You took everything from me," which is kind of classic supervillain origin, right? You took everything from me. Classic supervillain origin. And then in the very cold way when he says, "I don't even know who you are," and she says, "You will." One of the most badass lines in all of Endgame. And then with her final conversation with Hawkeye at Tony's funeral, I don't know. There's a darkness that's coming over her. There's a brokenness coming over her. Could that be the beginnings of something that we see in WandaVision, and then by the end of WandaVision, she just goes to the dark side, and then we pick up in Doctor Strange 2 where she striped the villain? Maybe. Again, I'm not willing to say that's what I think will happen, but I'm buying into it more and more. Dude, I'm telling you, I'm buying into it more and more. Okay, next one. Tom Weisenberg writes, "I'm reading the Witcher books right now. I've never read the Witcher. I've played a couple of the games. I've never read the books. Loving them. But they're rather small scale when compared to something like Lord of the Rings. All about this one Witcher and the people close to him." Yeah, and you know what? One of my criticisms, and I don't even know if it was a criticism or more of just an observation, that when I watched the Witcher trailer that they played for the Netflix series, I liked it. It's good, but I wasn't kind of blown away by it. And maybe that's my own fault for having really super high expectations. But to me, it felt a little bit smaller scale. And, maybe to your point, Tom, maybe that's because in the books, which I've never read, maybe in the books, that's because in the books, they are a little bit smaller scale. Which then would completely explain why I'm watching the trailer and feeling like the trailer might be a little bit smaller scale than I was thinking. Who knows? But you might be onto something there. All right. Adrian Musio writes, "So what are the odds that we get a new Star Wars trailer at D23? And yes, I feel like a shower is needed after watching Game of Thrones. I'm guessing TWD is The Walking Dead, Lord of the Rings. Bring on the filthy." I think the odds are very high. Now, take that with a grain of salt, that I have not heard anybody official confirm that. I have not heard any reports that they're going to show us a new Star Wars Episode 9 trailer at D23. I've heard from no sources that they're going to play it. But, when the first one come out? In April? So now, May, June, July, it'll be in August. So it'll be 4 months since the first trailer came out. And we'll be 4 months away from the movie coming, right? August, September, October, November, December. So it's kind of right in the middle from when the first trailer came out to when the movie's coming out. And it's D23. It seems to make perfect sense that D23 becomes the event that they launch a new Star Wars trailer. And it'll be the first real true trailer. Look, I like the first trailer to Star Wars Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker. I liked it, but it was just a teaser. It doesn't really give us anything other than the maniacal laugh of the Emperor at the end, which was cool, which was great. I loved it. But I'm very curious to see what their first full-blown trailer is going to look like. And I think, as far as D23 goes, I think the odds are very high. I actually think D23 is going to blow the roof off. Not just with a Star Wars trailer, but I personally think more MCU announcements, because at Comic-Con they gave us 2020 and 2021. I think at D23 they're going to give us 2022 and 2023. That'll include Captain Marvel 2, Black Panther 2, Guardians of the Galaxy 3, maybe Fantastic Four. But I think they're also going to give us Avengers 5. And then, of course, with the Star Wars front, I think they're going to I just think D23 is going to be huge. So I think the odds are pretty high. That's just my guess. All right. Sid Vicious writes, "Is Tarantino starting Star Trek?" Let me try this again. "Is Tarantino starting Star Trek and now Kill Bill rumors to sell Once Upon a Time tickets? He has too much ego to make a franchise movie his last. On the contrary." First of all filmmakers have to have a certain degree of ego. You have to. You can't survive this business unless you do. You got to have a supreme confidence in yourself to do what these guys do. And that means needing to have a healthy ego. I would almost suggest, to the contrary of what you're saying, I think his ego is big enough that he can go, yeah, I can go out on a franchise film. I can step in and do a franchise film better than anybody else has done a franchise film. I really think that's his mindset. And that mindset has served him well and served his fans well, by the way, over the years. So, but to the question, do I think he's talking about these things to sell tickets? I don't think talking about Star Trek or talking about Kill Bill 3 will sell one extra ticket. Just from my own personal point of view, I don't think any of that's going to sell one extra ticket to Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. If anything, it might actually distract from Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Because honestly, what did we talk about on the John Campea Show this morning? We talked about Kill Bill Volume 3. Instead of talking about Quentin Tarantino and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, which is what we probably should be talking about because the movie's opening soon, instead, what were we doing? We were talking about Kill Bill 3. So it almost seems to me like that would be counterintuitive. I mean, who knows the way the buzz and marketing machine works, but my suspicion is that no, he's not bringing that stuff up to try to sell tickets because honestly, to me, that seems a little bit counterintuitive. But maybe I'm wrong. Sid Vicious writes, DiCaprio puff piece in Hollywood Reporter being last movie star is mean-spirited as the article calls out Robert Downey Jr., Jennifer Lawrence, Will Smith for their choices. Well, I got to tell you, Sid, I haven't read the article myself. I've had a few people send me links to it. I just haven't had time today to actually just sit down. I haven't had 2 seconds to rub together today, but I just haven't had the time today to sit down and go over and read that article. But I'm not hearing anybody saying it's mean-spirited. But maybe they just read a little bit different than you. I am fascinated to read it, though. And like I said, I do have the links on my phone because several people have been sending the links to it. So I'm going to give that a read, but I'll keep my eyes open for that. I'll keep my eyes open for that. All right. All Hail Thanos writes. I like that name. Hey, guys. Love the show. Thank you so much, All Hail Thanos. Did you watch Andy's, former Screen Junkies host video showing evidence of his innocence from claims of sexual assault? I'm going to say this. I'm not going to comment on that. That's not what I'm not here to talk about like celebrity gossip of other YouTube channels. Look, when the initial Andy stuff came out, I said, I'm making no comment about it. And today I'm saying I'm making no comment about it. That's not what my YouTube channel is. That's not what I'm here to do. So I am not going to comment on it. Simple as that. I appreciate you sent that in. I appreciate you asking. Nothing wrong that you asked, but that's not what my channel is for. My channel is for all of us to talk about the things we love, movies, television, things like that. I'm not here to talk about the behind-the-scene drama of other YouTube channels. That's not what I'm here to do. So with all due respect, not going to answer that. Mr. JG writes, greetings from Scotland. Sitting the New York bar a week. Do you mean taking the New York bar? I'm going to assume you mean taking the New York bar. Anyway, taking the New York bar a week today. Thanks for keeping me sane over the past few months. Well, if you're taking the bar, that is a huge thing. Good luck to you. First of all, congratulations just getting to the point that you're able to take the bar. And good luck on taking it. And hey, if at first you don't succeed, do it again. Simple as that. And I'm happy you're, able to make the film fan community here part of the thing that helps you get through it. And I'm glad we're able to be a part of that, man. I hope it goes well for you, brother. Okay. Sid Vicious writes, where are we? Ford v. Ferrari is going to Telluride, Venice, Toronto festivals. Must be confident in the movie as they are opening themselves to a lot of critics. Oh, I'm telling you what, Sid. They showed us the very first preview for Ford v. Ferrari at CinemaCon in April in Vegas. And I'll tell you what, it was awesome. And they've released another trailer since then, all that kind of stuff, and it looks spectacular. And you could just tell from that first presentation in April, they believe the world in this film. They have super high hopes and super high expectations for this movie. Absolutely they do. And it looks like, the movie may suck, but it looks like their confidence is well placed. And yeah, taking it to all these high profile, high prestige festivals, I think it says a lot. And I cannot wait to watch this thing. Okay, Luke Blackwell writes, Lion King was good, but Jungle Book was much better. Listen, I love both of them. I love Jungle Book. I'm going to disagree. I thought Lion King was better than Jungle Book. I love Jungle Book. That's no shade from me on Jungle Book. It was great. It was wonderful, as a matter of fact. I just thought Jon Favreau took what he did in Jungle Book and improved upon it even more for Lion King. But hey, that's the beauty of subjectivity films. You're going to see it one way, I might see it another way. Epic Berserker writes, is it a good assumption Avengers 5 for 2023? I think so. Not everybody agrees. Not everybody agrees that it is, but I think it is. I think that we are going to get an announcement. Again, no insider information here. This is just me as a fan like you speculating at this point. But yeah, I think in 2023, we're going to get it. We're going to get an Avengers 5. I think. I'm guessing. Pure guess. And I think we're going to find that out officially at D23 next month. Again, no insider information. This is just me as a fan speculating, okay? But that's my speculation, and I'm going to stick with it for now. All right, guys. That gets us all caught up now on all the overdue questions from earlier today's John Campea Show. Don't forget, the John Campea Show returns again tomorrow morning. It's going to be me, Robert Meyer-Burnett, and Chris Carr is going to be here as well. We have already got a bunch of stuff we're going to talk about. Rumors about Deadpool maybe in the MCU. Rumors about maybe J.J. Abrams doing Superman. A lot of different types of things that we've already got lined up to talk about tomorrow. I hope you join us then. That'll do it for us for now, guys. My name is John Campea, and until next time, bye-bye.